Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to tell you guys about a very powerful experience I had, and actually I completely forgot about this experience, which is crazy to even say. But I think I was suddenly reminded of this vision I had weeks or like a month or two ago. And I was suddenly reminded today that I had this vision, and it felt really, really important to get it out. And it was a very flash vision, but the feeling I got from it was extremely powerful. One day I was working, I think I was at work doing something, and I was meditating on Apostle Paul. I was thinking about how, I don't remember exactly what I was thinking about with Apostle Paul, but I was just thinking about his ministry and everything he did for Christ, and how selfless he must have been to endure everything he did endure. And all of a sudden I had a vision of Apostle Paul, and I saw him on this random dirt road. It was like a light sandy colored dirt road, and it looked like he was in the middle of nowhere, you guys. He was in the middle of this wilderness area. I didn't see any animals or anyone near him, or any like buildings or carriages, but this dirt road looked like it had a small streak of grass in the center of this dirt road, and it was just wide enough for a large horse-drawn type carriage to drive across. So it looked like a well-worn dirt road that maybe was traveled in between cities. And I saw this like on either side of this dirt road was just like grass. I saw this light grass everywhere in this like straight, it was sometimes straight and like lightly sloping hillside. It was very beautiful wilderness actually. And I just saw him walking down this dirt road, and he turned around and smiled at me. And he was extremely handsome, and he looked like about 30 years old. He looked very young, and he had this long robe on that I imagine that's something similar to what Jesus would have worn in his time when he was on earth. And it was like a linen colored all the way down, but he had this green sash over it. It was like on either side of his shoulders that draped over him. It was like a colored green, and I believe he had leather sandals on. And he was walking somewhere. He had his back towards me, walking down this dirt road. And then I saw him turn around and just smile at me. And all of a sudden, I was hit with what he was feeling. Like what he felt about God, how he felt about his ministry, like what he truly felt about his calling in God, and how he felt about other people. And it was overwhelming. He was so incredibly selfless for God. I felt like he was 100% for God. He loved God with all of his heart. And he didn't care if he was brutally murdered, if he was mocked, if he was laughed at. He didn't care if people thought he was crazy. He didn't care about people pleasing. He was 100% devoted to God. And I felt that all in the moment, how much he loved God. And his faith was absolutely beautiful. And the second strong feeling I felt from him was how much he loved people. That was the two greatest things about him that I felt in that moment. His intense love for God, his total abandonment to the will of God and to pleasing him. And a second after that, because God came first, is his love for people. He had such a passion for people. He loved people and wanted to tell them the truth of the gospel of Christ. And everything he did after Jesus saved him was from his pure love for God and his love for others. And I just really wanted to share this because it almost made me tear up today thinking about it, because it was such a pure and overwhelming faith he had that just hit me all at once. It was very overpowering. And there was this false movement going around. Hopefully people don't believe it anymore. People were actually believing that Apostle Paul was fake, that he was false, that all of his teachings were false. I used to watch this person's YouTube videos that I thought was a Christian woman, and all of a sudden she was talking about how Apostle Paul was fake, and she started saying a bunch of really horrible things about Apostle Paul, like mocking him like horribly. And I was so shocked because I didn't realize that this was even a thing, that people were mocking Apostle Paul. And that never even once crossed my mind that he was ever false, as a true believer myself. So God really exposed to me that that woman wasn't of God at all. At that point, I don't know if she ever was, or if she just lost her way. She got caught up in this false movement. I'm not 100% sure, but I left her channel alone very quickly. And so I just wanted to warn people that Apostle Paul wasn't false. He's true. And think about it. If the devil can convince whole groups of people that Apostle Paul was false, where does that lead us? Because he wrote most of the New Testament. And he gave us vital spiritual instructions on how to grow ourselves in the Lord. And if you think he's false, God forbid, if anyone thinks he's false, you would completely dismiss most of the New Testament. And then where would you go from there? Because a lot of the 12 apostles, the first 12 apostles that followed Jesus, they confirmed him as a real brother in Christ. They believed him as a true apostle of God. So then would that person start doubting them? Like, well, if they believe Apostle Paul and he was false, so are they false too? It would just lead to mass chaos and confusion in someone's faith. And it's false, guys. Apostle Paul was a real man of God. Everything he did from that point on, when he got converted, was from his pure love for God. He loved God so much. And I hope this really encourages people to understand Apostle Paul and really thank God for all of his workers. You know, everyone that God saves and raises up for a powerful job in the kingdom. And it's not just people that have, you know, not everyone is called to be 100% in the ministry. God needs people out in regular workplaces to shine his light on people that might not have otherwise ever stepped foot in a church. Like, how would people know unless someone goes to preach to them? And all of us are called to minister. Anyone who is truly saved, God will call you to minister to others around you. And if you refuse, you could have their blood on your hands. So God forbid, if anyone if God places a strong unction in your spirit to talk to someone and you refuse out of being ashamed of the gospel, because that's what that means. You're being ashamed of the gospel when you do that. Then you can have their blood on your hands on Judgment Day. And I don't wish that for anyone. And this is for me as well. And I hope we can take a lesson from, you know, from God in showing me this, that the selflessness of Apostle Paul. You know, he was so devoted to God, and he loved people enough to tell them the truth. He didn't care who it offended. And Apostle Paul loved people with a fervency that just made me think, like, do I love people that much? Like, it was so powerful, his faith for God and his love for people. And don't get me wrong, Apostle Paul knew when to shake the dust off his feet and keep going. But he had such an intense love for people. So I just pray this really blesses us and encourages us. And yeah, Jesus is coming soon, and keep the faith, keep going, you guys, and keep looking up, because Jesus is coming back. And also, real quick, I'm going to put a link of a video down below where a Strong Woman of God Changes Coming Soon channel did a video as well concerning Apostle Paul. And please go see that if you guys haven't seen that video already. God bless you guys. Bye.